So now we are moving on to the Book of Love, Book 5 of Savitri. We have seen earlier the birth of Savitri, the growth of Savitri into full maidenhood, then Savitri's quest to seek a life's partner, she going from place to place. Her father had received a command from the Supreme, and it is that word of Yogi Ashwapati which became the starting point for Savitri's quest to seek her life's partner to carry out the work for which she had come here, the birth. So, it is in that context now we are heading towards the Book of Love. Savitri is going to meet her future life's partner here. And the opening canto, the destined meeting place, is a brief canto, a brief description which quickly tells us in just 86 lines or in 22 sentences about the whole place where Savitri is going to meet Satyavan and where they recognize each other's ancient identity. Something has awakened in them and they recognize that they had been together all along through the ages. Though there is a thick human veil around them, still there is something which penetrates out and recognizes who they are. And it is in that sense we could say that when Savitri meets Satyavan, at once they fall in love. It is love at first sight. Now, love at first sight is our common phrase, but this sight is also an ancient sight. This is a sight which they have been carrying with them since the beginning of this creation. So it is love at first sight again in the sense of their being together right from the beginning and now also they recognizing each other. So the identity, the unity is immediate, obviously. And it is that which is what we are going to see in this very beautiful, very sweet book, the Book of Love, which was written in the final form in 1946. By 1946, it was completed by Sri Aurobindo. And I would say perhaps this is the most lyrical book in Savitri. Lyrical, very sweet, very lyrical. And of course, that lyricism has its occult and spiritual power, spiritual content, which is always there in Savitri. But perhaps here there is something extraordinary in that respect. From the point of our poetry, we could also say that this is one of the best illustrations of what Sri Aurobindo called to bring in Savitri the Kalidasian touch as far as possible in English. The English medium is a different medium than the Sanskrit medium. Its associations, its history, its usation, they are of a different kind. And therefore he says as far as possible in English to bring the Kalidasian touch. But I would say that he was saying that thing with a kind of restraint. He has far exceeded Kalidasa. Kalidasian touch is generally romantic, almost bordering at times to erotic, romantic, Kalidasian touch. But here, the lyricism, the love has a spiritual quality throughout, and you breathe it, you smell it, the fragrance is that, you taste it, you hear its sound, you see the whole thing like that spiritual touch in the lyricism, and that is something exceptional, that all the five senses get drawn into that love affair of theirs, you see, so to say. Now, the destined meeting place, we have right in the beginning two wonderful lines. The very first sentence, 101.1. See, what a lovely thing, we are beginning with a new book, Book of Love, and it starts with 101 and goes on now. The new world has to dawn, come out with that, you see. The old 100 is over, you see. Now the new has to start and come, you see. So that is how things fall into places, even in terms of numbers. Numbers, you see. Shyamananda didn't count that this is going to be 101 section of his Savitri, you see. It happens like that, you see. Now, before we go to these two lines, let me just give you some brief idea about things which are similar to what we have in this particular canto, the Destined Meeting Place, the first canto of the Book of Love. See, we have here the description of Satyavan and Savitri coming together and meeting for the first time. In other words, this is the place what is called the Shalva Woods, where Satyavan was living, Shalva Woods, and it is therefore a very special kind of a place, and it is there that these two lovers are going to meet. Not only are they going to come together, but here in the Shalva Woods, the most unique event is going to take place. 1 year after their coming together, Satyavan is to die. He has to die. He will die here in this meeting place. So this meeting place is also charged with the connotation of the death of Satyavan. You see. When it says destined, well, that whole destiny is also imbibed, is embedded in this particular place, you see. He's going to die here, and obviously Savitri will bring his soul back to the earth, back with the boon from the transcendent Supreme Himself. She is going to bring the soul of Satyavan back here with a boon from the transcendent of the divine manifestation, of the life divine as the future prospect of this evolutionary earth. So that is what makes Shalva Woods unique, significant, and it is that place what we have here in the opening canto here. Now, we shall of course go quickly through this passage and read the description, but let me just draw your attention. We'll come back and see those references also later on, that we have in different contexts in Savitri kind of a reference to Shalva Woods. Although it is not mentioned that, it is not named that way, but it is pertaining to this place, those descriptions. And some of the descriptions which I got here in my list are, first description is of course 3.20, 3.26. 20, 26. We'll just quickly see this particular section, 7 sentences. Around her were the austere sky-pointing hills, and the green, murmurous, broad, deep-thoughted woods. 3.20. Muttered incessantly their muffled spell. A dense, magnificent, colored, self-wrapped life, draped in the leaves, vivid emerald monotone, and set with checkered sunbeam and blithe flower, immured her destiny's secluded scene. Her destiny is secluded scene. This is the place, you see. Her destiny is secluded scene. And then there had she grown to the stature of her spirit in this place. She had grown to the stature of her spirit. It is here, after the marriage, when the prophecy was made about the death of Satyavan, it is here that Savitri did the yoga of the conquest of death. It is here Savitri then grew to the stature of her spirit by doing that yoga, you see. There has she grown to the stature of her spirit. The genius of the titanic silence is steeping a soul in its wide loneliness, has shown to her herself bare reality, and mated her with her environment. She had become one with the whole place. Its solitude greeted her human hours with a background of eternal and unique. If foes spare direct necessity, reduce the heavy framework of man's day and his overburdening mass of outward needs. At first, to a first thin strip of simple animal want and a mighty wideness of the primitive earth. This is a description. To a first thin strip of simple animal wants, bird, beast, in that place. And the mighty wideness of the primitive earth, and the brooding multitude of patient dream, and the musing sapphire leisure of the sky, sapphire leisure of the sky, and the solemn weight of the slowly passing months had left in her deep room for thought and God. It is there she is brooding about the future event, about the death of Satya. There was her drama's radiant prologue lived here in the Salva Woods. This is the meeting place where the drama of her life, prologue of the life is going to be made. There was a drama's radiant prologue lived, a spot for the eternal trade on earth. This is the place for the trade of the eternal on earth. Now this is the spot. You got it? Yeah. A spot for the eternal trade on earth. Now this is the entire description of the destined meeting place. In one line, if you want to summarize, the summary is here. A spot for the eternal's trade on earth. Set the cloistral yearning in the woods, and watch for the aspiration of the peak, the mountains aspiring, watch for the aspiration of the peak, appear to an aureate opening in time, as if a window has been cut into time, and it is seen from that, where stillness listening felt the unspoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. So this is the most mystical description of the destined meeting place, or the destined meeting place, you see. Then we have later on 102.2. This is a brief description of a different type. As if a wicket gate to joy were there. This is a gate of joy, small little gate through which you pass for joy, this place. As if a wicket gate to joy were there, ranged in with voiceless hand and magic sign upon the margin of an unknown world, reclined the curve of a sun-held recess, grows with strange flowers like eyes of gazing nymphs. Those flowers, as if they are eyes of the gazing nymphs, peered from the secrecy into open space, boughs whispering to a constancy of light, shattered a dim and screened felicity. And slowly a supine inconstant breeze ran like a fleeting sigh of happiness over slumber's grasses sprang with green and gold. So this is the place, you see, again, a brief description like that, you see, and it goes on. Hidden in the forest. In fact, the whole description is from 102.2 to 102.6. Then the next is 103.14. 103, 103, 14. Satyavan is describing to Savitri about his place. Close is my father's creepered hermitage. So there is the hut hermitage with dry leaves protecting like a roof and all that. Close is my father's creepered hermitage, screened by the wall ranks of the silent kings. Screened behind these trees, which you say, it is behind that is the hermitage where my father stays. Screened by the tall rank. So you can imagine the whole place full of trees and covering in the forest like that. Sung to by voices of the hue-robed choirs, birds of many hues of colors. It is they who sing the glory of this place all the while, whose chants repeat transcribed in music's notes. So it is those birds, their chant, it is that which comes to our music. You see, what the birds sing, their chant, it is that which gets transcribed into our music. You see. The passionate colored letterings of the boughs. So the boughs are as if having bright, beautiful letters and fill the hours with their melodious cry. Amid the welcome hum of many bees, invade our honeyed kingdom of the wood. There, let me lead thee to an opulent life. So it is there, let me take you to my house and show you the place there. See. So that is how it describes her. And then again, further on in the same canto, 103.28.